Good morning. I am Maria Figueroa, a member of your Board of Trustees. Welcome to you, old friends and new, young and seasoned. You are an essential part of our celebration today. Whether today is your first or 1000th Sunday in our midst, we are stronger because you are with us. Whether you join us in person or online, we are glad you're here. We are one people of many beliefs, many origins, sexualities, and genders. We are all growing, all learning, all loved. Just as you are welcome here. As we do each week, and as we begin our gathering, I respectfully acknowledge that I speak to you today from occupied Puyallup and Coast Salish ancestral lands. I pay respect to elders past and present and extend that respect to their descendants and all Indigenous people. We are joining you again today in multi-platform mode. You will see some of us in the sanctuary and others Zooming online. For those meeting in person today, we invite you to join us for coffee time following the service. Red mugs are for visitors who would like to chat and introduce themselves. For those in person, this facility is equipped with a hearing assistance system. Devices are available at the back of the sanctuary. We announced our new administrator, Sharon Gold, last Sunday. She is gathering up various portions of her job that the board had distributed during the past few months. She will be taking on the weekly e-news immediately. So once again, you can expect the weekly e-news to be weekly. We are sorry for the break in service. Watch your email box. Thank you for your patience as we navigate this important transition. We continue to welcome back our religious exploration program. Registration forms are available on our website, and I saw they were out on the table also. As we resurrect the RE program, we will need volunteers to support it. Please see Chrissy Kim. I lost my place. Or email board@tahomauu.com to sign up to volunteer to help with the children downstairs. We need extra people to make this work. As always, details for our upcoming services can be found on our website or in the e-news. Next week, our service will be For All of Us with Reverend Linda. As our religious explorations program restarts, we'll reflect on what it means for us all to be a place of learning and exploring.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm speaking to you from northern Vermont on the Quebec border, the land of the Abenaki people. I wish I was with you in person, but this is the modern world. The opening words this morning are by Elena Westbrook. In a world ravaged by violence, by hatred, by conflicts that seem eternal and insoluble, sometimes the only thing we can do is to be still for a moment, to remind ourselves what is real. The sun that rose this morning, the dirt under our feet, the air whispering in and out of our lungs. This hour, try just to be present in each moment as it unfolds. Your simple attention is what makes these moments holy.
Good morning. My name's Patty McPhee, and I will be your celebrant this morning. I want to welcome you all. And I would like to invite up Kepler, who you can watch as this unfolds. I remember when he was shorter than me. That was a while back. Please join with me in the lighting of the chalice. The words will be on the screen behind me. We light this chalice in deep respect for the mystery and the holiness of life, in honor and gratitude for those who've gone before, with love and compassion for those who dwell among us, and with hope and faith for the generations to come. Now we get to sing. I would love it if everybody who is able would stand up and join with me in Gather the Spirit on page 347. I gotta watch every minute. I have such faith in you. See
walking. Do you have a mic? Do you have a mic? I get the mic again. That's so much fun. Cindy Hackett will be doing the Time for All Ages. So at this time, I would like to invite all of those who are young or young in spirit to please come forward while we share a story.
What do I do with this?
Come on. It's going to be fun.
How do I put it on?
Do it. Kepler, thank you. I feel so much better now.
Thank you. Oh, Lord, that's really loud. Are y'all coming up? You can listen right from there. That's just fine. Hi, friends. Hello. I'm so glad to see you this morning. Let's see. Hey, Jonas. Hey, so nice to see you. You have brought your panda. Yeah. I love it. That was Zeus. Whoa. If I put this down, is that okay? It's in my way. So, those of you who are young in spirit, we have a story today. This is Time for All Ages, but I have a question for you first. Not loud enough? Is it because of this? I'm sorry? Oh, thank you, Patty. Yeah, you know, it's technology. There we go. Okay. So I have a question for you all. Do you ever find yourself trying to remember something and that memory has just like fallen out of your head?
Yeah.
Does that happen to you?
Sometimes I forget the name of the soup.
You forget the name of the soup. What else do you forget? What do you forget, Jonas?
Sometimes I have like a really good idea for a picture and then I go to draw it and I'm like, what was I going to draw?
I get it, yes.
Sometimes when my mom thinks she cooks when I say appetizer, I sometimes
That happens sometimes. Who else? You shared already. Just one more from me.
Sometimes I forget to bring my backpack to school.
Oh, yes.
And I'm
Yes.
What did she say?
Sometimes she forgets to bring her backpack to school. Yes, I get that completely. Well, one of the things that happens when we get older, or more seasoned, as we say, one of the things that happens is those memories, there's so many memories we have over our lifetime that some of those memories do just drop out of my head. So we're going to read a story today called Weeds in Nana's Garden. And this is by Catherine Harrison. It is a story about a disease called Alzheimer's disease. And Alzheimer's disease is one of the things that happens is that people who have Alzheimer's really do forget a lot. And they keep forgetting more and more. And there's a term they use for that. Does anybody know what that term is? It starts with a D. Disease is a good term. What else? It's dementia. That's the term. Oh, that does happen. Need. No, so my mom had dementia, and we finally when it became time, we found a very safe place where she was cared for, and they understood what was going on, and they were super patient, and I could go visit and I could tell her I love her. And it was kind of like Nana. And my daughter, her grandkids and her great grandkids were also able to do that. Jonas.
Earlier that I saw one of the fairies was riding the cat.
Fairies do that, you know. Okay, our time for all ages is over, but I have something for each of you. Here is a packet of forget-me-not seeds. And the most best thing about these is they come back year after year and they spread everywhere. And they're easy to pull out when they spread where you don't want them. They just pluck right out and then you put them in a vase and enjoy them. So if we could form the arch for our kids and sing them out quickly in our heart as you go, may your heart.
Bob will be doing them.
We now come to the portion of our service, our invitation to generosity. This religious community exists by its mission as a fire exists by burning. But a fire cannot burn without fuel, and it is the time, the energy, the imagination, the vision, the creativity, the compassion, the love, and the financial support of the members and friends of this community that fuels our mission to nurture and sustain a welcoming, inclusive, and diverse liberal religious community. And that transforms lives and serves the world. Your support, the free and generous support of each and every member and friend of this community, is what fuels this community and its mission. And without your support, the flame of justice, community, and love cannot burn brightly to warm ourselves and to be a beacon to the world threatened by division and fear. Please take a moment, send your contributions on to the links that you see on screen. At the same time, the offertory baskets are being passed through the sanctuary. Remember that this would not be here for you if you don't help us financially support TUUC and the staff and the building that supports our beliefs. Thank you. we now dedicate ourselves and our offerings to the work of this congregation, weaving a tapestry of love we call community, both within and beyond these walls. Thank you.
I was waiting for cameras to do things, but I will just speak to the chalice. Let us gather our hearts together in a time of meditation. The words this morning are from Wendell Berry. When despair for the world grows in me and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be, I go and lie down where the wood drake rests his beauty on the water and the great heron feeds. I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief. I come into the presence of still water, and I feel above me the day-blind stars waiting with their light. For a time, I rest in the grace of the world and am free. Amen. The reading this morning was written by my late husband, Sky Yardley, about a year and a half before he died. It's an excerpt from our book, Alzheimer's Canyon, One Couple's Reflections on Living with Dementia. What I believe, a work in progress. As a species, we human beings have a great capacity to feel and act for good and or for harm in close to equal power. This power extends to the capacity to foul our own nests with overpopulation and excess consumerism, leading to the extinction of hundreds of thousands of life forms, including our own. The wheels have already been set in motion. Mass extinctions have become inevitable. How far will they go? Remarkably, despite numerous opportunities and threats, we have so far avoided using nuclear weapons again, our most imminent threat of mass extinction. Continuing to stay alive and love as the technology of war and death ramp up on all sides is cause for celebration. What we call nature will continue. Nature doesn't need us to keep doing what she's been doing so successfully for over 4 billion years. Building mountains, eroding them back down, floating continents around over the tectonic plates under them, the whole shebang greased with molten rock and iron. Whenever I spend time in the familiar landscape of my Vermont home, I'm reminded of the power that creates it and how minuscule my concerns are in comparison. The mountains are always there for me, without complaint, so solid and strong, ready to receive whatever human-based whining I have to offer. The lakes and rivers too are there for me, always flowing, moving, creating. Thank you, rocks and water. 3 years ago, I was hit with a doozy when a PET scan noted problems with my brain's utilization of glucose, its primary nutrient, adding that the scan was also consistent with early signs of Alzheimer's disease. Bring on the devastation. The neurologist's mournful tone and the content of his words combined to feel like nails in a coffin, and my spirit sank like a stone. The doctor assessed my remaining lifespan at 6 to 10 years, offered me Aricept, and had very little else to say as I walked out of the office, stunned. All I could focus on was the losses, big and small, including the loss of my identity, who I was. I didn't know where that could lead except to more losses. I floated in and out of denial for several months. Going for long bike rides helped to ground me. There are 2 bike paths where I live that run along Lake Champlain, and I went there in all kinds of weather when I needed to find peace. There's a beautiful sculpture next to one of the bike paths on the edge of the water, a replica of standing stones, and I would find myself going there. Besides the sculpture, there are vestiges of shipwrecked boats, artistic in their own way. And beyond them, the broad lake with the Adirondack Mountains towering over the western shore. Going there provides me with a sense of mystery, a sense of things being unfinished, helping me be comfortable with my diagnosis, my dementia, not knowing where this is leading. I can find peace being there. I can lose my terror. I can understand that the world is still unfolding, and so am I. At the end of the bike path, there's an accessible treehouse. I like to climb up and nest myself in this giant oak. It's a very alive place. I've always loved trees, being in the woods, and here I can get a taste of that without leaving town. I respect the woods because the life forms there know what to do, and they always have. Knowing that I too am a life form, it takes the pressure off. Somewhere inside, I too know what to do. I too am part of creation and the unfolding of all, wherever we are headed. My wise niece once told me, everything will work out okay in the end. And if it's not okay, it's not the end. That God has better plans for you than you do for yourself. That the goddess provides, and that you are always embraced by an endless love. I want to thank Cindy for starting off the fact that this topic is going to make me cry, and it may make you cry too, and that's okay. I don't know about you, but I am terrible at remembering names. I have tried all the tricks one is supposed to use to be able to do that, but no way, not for me. Thank goodness for name tags. And I saw in my brief shot of you all that you have name tags on, and that's really great. But I remember so many details about so many people, even if I have forgotten their names. The young apple farmer with scoliosis, the sawmill operator who was one of the first in the nation to have his fingers reattached, the woman in labor who came tearing out of the shower with nothing on but a shower cap, screaming that the baby was coming, the hospice patient of German ancestry that offered me peppermint schnapps at 10 a.m. as we sat at his kitchen table talking about death, the nurse's aide who held my hand in the emergency room after I was in a terrible car accident when I was 19. So many memories. But are these memories necessary to my life? What if I forgot them? Would it matter? Thinking about memories suddenly became more important to me when my husband Sky was diagnosed with dementia in 2016. I had known something wasn't quite right with him for a few years, but my fears were confirmed when he no longer knew how to do carpentry work, nor back up a car or a boat. When I met Sky, he was driving a 26-foot box truck delivering produce to Vermont food co-ops. He could organize that truck with precision and then back it into the smallest spaces. I was in awe. After being together for 6 months, we decided to build a small cabin together. I knew absolutely nothing about carpentry and could barely swing a hammer. But Sky taught me the ins and outs of power tools, rafters and soffits, insulation and drywall. We went on to build 6 more houses, one with our teenage children, and spent several years helping people rebuild in the New Orleans area after Katrina. Sky and I loved the water and owned a series of boats, from kayaks and canoes to sailboats and small liveaboard boats. He could maneuver them anywhere and in any weather until he couldn't. Neither of us understood this. He blamed the wind. Then he was helping our daughter rip up carpeting and lay hardwood flooring in her new home, and I could hear them arguing. No, that's not how it goes, Sky, said Dana emphatically. What? How could Sky not know how to lay flooring? I was in the living room applying fresh paint to the walls in tears. Something was definitely wrong with Sky. It was the next summer when we were renovating a duplex with our son Sayer and his partner Emma. This guy finally acknowledged that things were not right with his brain. He would find himself taking a measurement, walking to the piece of lumber on the sawhorses, picking up the saw, and having absolutely no idea what to do. He finally agreed to be tested, and the diagnosis came in, probable early stage Alzheimer's. He was 66 and in otherwise perfect health. We were stunned. The next day, we left on a long-planned trip to France. His French was impeccable, but he couldn't read a map or understand how to use his metro ticket. We talked and processed this devastating news as we walked the streets of Paris. Sky assumed he would eventually forget me and Dana and Sayer, but he was mostly afraid he would forget his self. Or as he said, the loss of my identity, who I was. Once home, Sky dove into reading everything he could about dementia. He talked about his experience with everyone he met, and we eventually started a blog and went on a US-wide sermon tour, speaking at 25 congregations until he was no longer able to. We read books about memory, what it is and what it means. It turns out there are several different kinds of memory, ranging from memories of how to do things, ride a bike, tie our shoes, walk, to memories of things that happen to us, however imperfect or incomplete those memories are, to memories of factual information. What's 2 by 2, 2 plus 2, or 2 times 2? Where is the bathroom? When did the Civil War start? Then Sky wrote this. As the attacks on our intellects and memory continue, we feared changing into people neither we nor our loved ones would value spending time with. How can we not become strangers? What is left for us if the glue of memory no longer holds ourselves together? What is left for us if the glue of memory no longer holds ourselves together? As time went on, Sky gradually lost the ability, the memory, of how to do many, many things. What clothes to wear, how to button buttons or zip zippers, how to write, how to read, how to ride a bike, how to play cards, how to get into bed, how to pull up the covers. Did he still know his self? I have no idea, but I could still see his self, who he was. Sky spent his last year in a memory care facility. Due to the pandemic, I was not allowed to see him, but we spoke often on the phone, and he was still there. He would call, telling me he was on his way home, catching a plane or a train, or he would call and say he was traveling, and he would tell me about his adventures. Once he called to say he had lost his passport and could I get him a new one. I played along with whatever situation he found himself in, never contradicting him, but instead asking him questions. What are you seeing? Where did you go? Where are you going next? He lived in a world of hallucinations, but he was still definitely him. After a while, instead of ending our phone calls with a mutual "I love you," he began to say, Thank you for loving me. The staff loved him too. He walked the corridors, interacting with other residents, always trying to soothe the conflict. He'd been a professional mediator, singing songs, making jokes. Sky was one of those people that had a song lyric for every occasion. Me, I can hardly remember song lyrics, never mind who starred in what movie. Sky had them all down pat. When he was dying, I was finally allowed to be with him. As he moved in and out of consciousness, he was still singing, and he seemed happy. He told me I was beautiful, and he told me the end was near. At that point, he had lost all memory of how to care for himself physically, from how to use utensils to eat to how to use the bathroom, but he still remembered songs, and he still remembered me, and somehow he knew his life was coming to a close. He may not have remembered himself, but I sure did. It was all there in its blazing glory, and he was definitely a person I would value spending time with. Is it only memory that's the glue that holds ourselves together? I think it's so much more than that. Our essential self is always there, no matter our memories, no matter our life experience. Our memories may enhance or help develop ourselves, but our pure essence remains always. And I think there's another kind of memory, emotional memory. I imagine we all have negative emotional memories, but I expect we all have positive emotional memories as well. When I think about all those people whose names I can't remember, but I can remember how I knew them and where, I also remember the emotion associated with that person. I loved spending time with the apple farmer. He told great stories and was patient with my newbie nursing skills. I was so scared of the very nice and gracious fellow who had lost his fingers, I hardly dared touch him, fearing I would cause further damage. I laughed and laughed with the new mother about the wild circumstances of her baby's birth. She barely made it back to bed. I was delighted by the hospice patient who was so forthcoming about his condition and his beloved schnapps. I was so grateful for the nurse's aide who soothed me, scared and in pain as I waited for medical help in a cold, stark ER. I can still feel her love and care 50 years later. And when I remember Sky these days, 2 years after his death, of course, I remember all the things we did together, the houses we built, the children we raised, the waterways we cruised, the adventures we had. But mostly I remember the love we shared and our strong, clear, deep relationship. I trusted him and he trusted me all the way to the end. Love and trust. What could be more important? After Sky died, I was going through his things and I came across a small piece of paper with these words by Louise Elder written in his hand. Please don't forget me. And please don't stay away because of the way my mind acts. I can still feel you. I can still remember with my heart. And a heart memory is maybe the most important memory of all. And a heart memory is maybe the most important memory of all. Amen.
Well, what I'd like for each of us as we wipe our tears away is to think on these words and set an intention, not just set it, but think about how you're going to act on that intention. just take a moment to let the words sink in and the thoughts of how you're going to move through the next week using the information that we've just been shared. And now we're going to see if Patty can sing and lead you all in our closing hymn, which is number 86 in the gray hymnal, Blessed Spirit of My Life. And you can rise if you feel it's so driven. Blessed Spirit of my life, give me strength through stress and strife. Help me live with dignity. Let me know serenity. Fill me with a vision. Clear my mind of fear and confusion. When my thoughts flow restlessly, let peace find a home in me. Spirit of the great mystery, hear the still small voice in me. Help me live wordless creed as I comfort those in need. Fill me with compassion, be the source of my intuition. Then when life is done with me, let love be my legacy.
Just waiting for the technology, but I guess I can just speak to you. There I am. I'm so sorry. I wish I was with all of you. This is so hard to preach to myself, but thank you for being here. Go in peace, go in love, and remember, a heart memory is the most important memory of all. Amen and blessed be.
We will be extinguishing the chalice, but as Jane just said, we will not be extinguishing our heart memory. Please join me in we're going to find a phrase for this, the extinguishment words. That's not quite right, but as we extinguish this flame, light of truth, warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And please join in our closing blessing song. Those of you who are new, we're going to wave our hands around a little bit, but it's just the joyous childishness of us all. The words will be on the screen.